Welcome back to Hong Kong Direct. Special guests Ed Sadler and Leo Schlink still with me. Their tips on the two Group 1s in a moment or so, but we've still got a small matter of the first leg of the four-year-old Classic Series to have a look at as well. That is the Classic Mile, headed by Sky Darcy. Now level weights here, but you can see the ratings, and Sky Darcy clear here on 103. Won 3 of 4 so far this season. Excellent proposer. Won his first 3. Big disappointment last time out behind Not Usual Talent. And Rich Delight won first up third in that same race. Not Usual Talent last time out. Healthy Happy's hit the ground running. Tourbillon Diamond was a last start course and distance winner. Shadow here with a gear change. We're talking here from Zach Burton very shortly. Lucky Patch. Behind Not Usual Talent as well. Maximus, a good run at a price behind Circuit 3 last time out. Beauty Joy was good in his first run, and Zara, well, not so much. He finished last in that Not Usual Talent on his Hong Kong debut. But it does look like a great lineup here. Very open contest, even with the ratings taken into account. Ed, Casper Founds with Sky Darcy and Rich Delight looks to have a strong hand. He
definitely does, Andrew. I think he's got the two aces here, even though there's more depth than just those two. Sky Darcy's been in terrific form. He started off with 3 wins and then had things go against him last time out. He encountered a couple of bits of interference in the straight last time on New Year's Day at Group 3 level. He still got to the line well, and I think he'll be better suited to the mile. Enriched Delight hasn't had the ideal preparation either going into his last run, but still performed well. Won first up, which is never easy to do in Hong Kong, and again is drawn to get every opportunity. So they're two of the main players in this race. Yeah, and on Sky Darcy as well, Leo. He's probably a little bit unlucky not to be unbeaten. That run in the Chinese Club Challenge Cup behind Champions Way, who runs in the Stewards Cup Group 1. Mighty Giant behind him and Fat Turtle behind him. They also go in the Group 1s on the weekends. He has mixed it with some nice horses already.
He has. He's obviously a quality animal, and also another one of those horses with a great attitude, and he's not been far away last time, and before that you look at the picket fence. He's obviously going to be the horse to beat in my opinion. I think Ed might be going the same way, but for me, he's right at the top of the tree. Yeah, he's drawn barrier 7 as well, with some of his rivals drawn a little bit wide. Tourbillon Diamond, Ed, I'll have to admit, though, I've been a bit of a convert with this horse. He looked pretty. He was good first up. He was even better second up. He was. He was able to win on International Day, beating Circuit 3. That was a terrific performance. I'm with you, Andrew. I must admit, going into his Hong Kong campaign, I thought that he would be a little bit dour, a little bit one-pace based on what we've seen of him in Australia, but he's been able to run really well over 1,400 metres first up, win over the mile second up, and his Australian form proves that he's going to be a big player, not just in the mile on the weekend, but over longer trips throughout this series. Yeah, well, speaking of Australian form, one horse that arrived here with a big reputation was Shadow Hero, already a Group 1 winner. Hasn't managed to win in 2 starts yet. We caught up with jockey Zach Burton at track work this week.
Well, I'm hopeful he's going to come out of the gate. His early trials here, he was jumping well and trialling nicely, and then we got the race day, and David spoke to his previous trainer and said that the horse really needs to have blinkers on, so we put the blinkers on him, and I just think that maybe he couldn't see the gate opening properly, because he just stood there and in both his starts with the blinkers on and let the other horses jump out before he did. So we took the blinkers off, and in that trial, as you've seen, he began well and put himself in a good spot. So we're going to go to the races without the blinkers, and let's hope that he can begin well and put himself in the race and make himself competitive, because he's not competitive when he walks out of the gates.
That was Zach speaking with Ed at track work this week. Lee, I know you've done a story on the website as well about Shadow Hero. The gear change, maybe a couple other things might be the difference this weekend? David Hayes is certainly hoping so. The removal of the blinkers, putting on the winkers, and as Zach pointed out, a bit of visibility improvement around the horse getting out of the gates. His Australian form is obviously all black type wins back home, but he hasn't done it here yet. It's going to be a really big day for him on Sunday to see whether he can stand up. Yeah, he's definitely got something to prove at this stage. The John Size pair, Ed, Lucky Express, an excellent proposal. I was driving the bandwagon for excellent proposal at the start of the season, but even I have to admit, that was a bit disappointing last time. Did a tie come off the bandwagon last time out, LJ? Yeah, I was with you on the bandwagon, certainly, but he was just too bad to be true last time out, and even I wasn't overly enthralled with his trial this week on Tuesday leading into the race. But what he'd done earlier on in the season to win those 3 races, and at times with things going against him to still win, he looked terrific. So I wouldn't write him off necessarily. Lucky Express's last run was huge. He had to cover a lot of ground. It was a big performance from him to still be placed. He's been consistent even if he's only won the 1 race. He's drawn a little awkwardly, but he's definitely a player in a race where there are a lot of players in this. Absolutely. Sky Darcy's obviously got the rating, Leo, already, but some of these horses haven't been here long enough to achieve that triple figure rating. So if it's not going to be him, there's a whole list of horses that could be competitive. Your Healthy Happies, your Maximus, a good run from him last time out. And Beauty Joy first up, that was an encouraging run also for the David Hay stable.
It was. Didn't have any luck at all, and just caught in the traffic there a bit. And first time Beauty Joy tasted defeat off 4 wins in Australia. And I think this is one of the horses that could really jump out and make that rise. And yeah, you look at this field and there are so many chances, and Beauty Joy's one of them.
Celestial Power's been maybe a latecomer to the party. He's crept up on me a little bit, Ed, but he's won his last 2 starts. Is there still more improvement to come?
We'll find out. We'll find out how good he is against his own generation anyway when he races on Sunday. Andrew, that was a really tough win from him at his latest outing. He's lower in from a ratings point of view, but he's in winning form, so I can't knock him. I would think he's a place hope, certainly.
Another one of the possible, well, he might be a winning chance, Leo, is Lucky Patch. Again, he's down on the ratings, but it was a good run last time out. He'd won the start before, and he's drawn well. Some of the big names haven't. They've drawn awkwardly. The
draw is crucial here, like it is in every race, but particularly in a race like this where it seems to be so even and with form lines coming from everywhere. But this horse, he is so consistent and rarely does anything wrong. And if he gets the right run from his good draw, he can certainly be a factor.
And what about Maximus as well, Ed? He's got in off the reserve bench. Again, he was unbeaten before he arrived here. The rating needs to be up there if he's going to be competitive in the Derby itself, but still hard to ride off after that last start effort.
That last start effort was very good, and it came about because of a change in tactics. They rolled forward on the horse. He kept on kicking. He was only run down in the last 100 metres of the race, and he's one that I'd like from the barrier trials leading into this Hong Kong campaign, even before he got to the races. So I think he's got a bit to offer.
Overall speaking as well, Leo, the Classic Mile, obviously you want to win the race. There's a lot of prize money on offer, but it has been a good guide to the Derby itself. We go 16 for the mile, 1800 metres, then the Derby. This has given us the last 2 Derby winners in Golden 60, of course, last year, and Furo the year before that.
Yeah, there's a bit to live up to, I should say. Yeah, it's a great stepping point, a great series, and Sunday is going to tell us a lot about these horses going forward. There'll be horses in this race at the weekend who will be making good ground late, and horses particularly suited over the Derby distance. They might be ones to factor in, but Sunday definitely is a D-day. Yeah, most of the horses we've talked about, Ed, have Southern Hemisphere form. The Northern Hemisphere horses like the Summits and Russian Emperor as well, they've only had the 1 start, haven't done a great deal. Are they a little bit behind the 8 ball?
Russian Emperor, I think I'll make more of a judgment on how he's going after Sunday. He did make up some ground last time out, and 1400 metres was never going to be his trip. I personally think he's going to be a staying type of horse, that if he does anything here, it'll be over 2000 metres and beyond. And the Summit, for me, the question mark is how does he go on the firm tracks here in Hong Kong, because that French form, a lot of that was on softer conditions.
All right, OK, well, I've got you then, Ed. Let's get the tips on the 2 Group 1s and for the 4-year-olds as well.
OK, well, Voyage Warrior for the first of the Group 1s, the Centenary Sprint Cup. He's drawn well, Zach Purton rides. I'm going to take on Hot King Prawn. Ricky Hughes won this race in the past with some pretty good sprinters as well too. Golden 60, we can't go against him in the Stewards Cup. And Sky Darcy, the pick for me, he's on top on ratings. Joe Moreira's had a few opportunities to pick a few other horses in the race, but I'll go with Sky Darcy, although Enriched Delight, Tourbillon Diamond, all legitimate winning hopes too. Yeah, the list goes on, doesn't it? Leo, what are your thoughts then on the 3 big ones?
It's a little bit of a worry because I'm close to Ed most of the day, except with Hot King Prawn. I just think that his statistics make him the obvious favourite. And Jolly Banner, I really like this horse. Voyage Warrior, Computer Patch, Golden 60 is the obvious one. Hopefully it can be a really competitive race, but he's just a phenomenal animal. And I'm also with Ed in the last. Sky Darcy, excellent proposal, I think, can bounce back. Enriched Delight and Beauty Joy, there'll be a number of horses who will improve starkly off their last run. There you go. Hard to go against Golden 60, isn't it? You'd be pleased to know your selections for the sprint is my one too as well. Let's look ahead though to what's happening not just on Sunday but in the weeks ahead as well. Of course, these Group 1s, races 5 and race 7 for the Group 1s, Classic Mile race 8. Happy Valley Wednesday night, and then back to Sha Tin again next weekend. All right, that's just about all we've got time for. Ed, always thank you, and Leo,
I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot more of you again in the future.
Thank you, Andrew.
Thanks, Andrew.
All right, that's the show. Thanks for watching. We're going to leave you this week, as we started with a show with an emerging superstar in Golden 60, with one of the all-time greats here in Hong Kong. That is Beauty Generation. He heads to retirement at Living Legends in Melbourne, Victoria. Enjoy this then, and we'll see you again on Sunday with all the action from Hong Kong direct to you.
Beauty Generation kept going. Elaine Paragon, Western Express trying hard. Beauty Generation takes the mile. Beauty Generation will not surrender. He fights on strongly in Beauty Generation. What a sensational season he's had. And Beauty Generation takes the Champions Mile from Western Express. This is 100% pure Group 1 power. He is invincible, Beauty Generation.